Hello and welcome to Different Perspectives. I'm Paul Ndiho coming to you live from Washington, D.C. But tonight, all eyes are on Morocco, where Afcon 2025 is reaching its most intense moment. The headline tells a part of the story. Nigeria is through, Egypt, Algeria are safe, and just yesterday, South Africa and other countries joined them. Bafana secured their spot in the knockouts, while with a thrilling 2 over Zimbabwe in Marrakesh. Meanwhile, Egypt maintained their unbeaten run, playing out a hard-fought 0-0 draw with Angola. Over the weekend, of course, we saw the raw emotion of the game. Uganda and Tanzania battled through the rain in Rabat, sharing the points in a dramatic 1-1 draw. The DRC stood toe-to-toe with Senegal and refused to blink, holding the defending champions to a stalemate. And in Morocco, the atmosphere was tense. Captain Arashaf Hakim made a simple request to his fans to stop whistling and stand together as one. But for football fans, Afcon is never about results. To help us break it all down, joining me in the conversation this afternoon is a passionate fan and a seasoned sports analyst, Pablo Crown, a sports journalist based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and later will be joined by Douglas Mpuga, an international broadcaster and my former colleague at the Voice of America. Mr. Crown, welcome to Different Perspectives. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Yes, I know you go by the names of Alma. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Almas.
Okay, so you set the stage for us. You are the biggest football fan or football analyst in Tanzania. Break it all down for us.
Well, thank you so much for the great opportunity. My name is Pablo Almas. I'm a sports journalist who works here in Tanzania at a radio station known as Crown Media. Well, it's a great opportunity to share a moment with you, speaking about the Afcon that takes place in Morocco and some details. Maybe for the first time, a large number of people will know what's really going on in Afcon and what have changed. And on my side, it's a great opportunity to share my experience and football from Tanzania, our national team, and everything that takes place in Morocco. Thank you so much, Paul, for the great opportunity.
I like that, man. I like that. So let's start with the bird's eye view. You have been, looking at this sport from a wider lens. You've traveled across the continent. You've seen some of these and met some of these players. What has Afcon 2025 in Morocco told us so far about the current state of African football? Are the giants still in control, or has this has the middle class of African football finally caught up with them?
The good thing about AFCON, it changes in every year that takes place. You know, the first time when we saw the draw in each group where the national teams will participate, every African people had already chosen their nationality and were ready to see maybe they can perform and have these qualities to do better. But for the first game, everything changed. And it shows us like this time around there will be everything differ with what took place in Ivory Coast in 2023. We all know, things took place there, and we saw the changes, and we are happy to see that Africa has progressed, Africa has developed, and we have seen some new players. Let's leave apart. The large number of players who come from Europe and have come to participate in AFCON. But it's a great opportunity for African players who plays in Africa and have this great opportunity. There's a certain player known as Chefondo Malone who plays for Cameroon. It is his first time to have this chance to play this big tournament. And as for him, he's the only African player who plays in Africa, and he was a national call-up in Morocco national team. But Liverpool about Chifondo Malone. There's another player known as Jigui Diarra who plays for Mali national team, is also the first player in Africa who have the chance to participate and to show what he has. And it's a great opportunity to many players because there are so many scouts in Morocco right now, Rabat, Marrakesh, Casablanca, who all eyes on the players to see maybe after the tournament we'll have opportunity to sell more players who will go in Europe and to play for the big teams. As you know now, Africa has developed and all eyes are in Africa, and people, big teams are really happy to have great players from our nation. So we are really happy to have Afcon in each year, and we are also sad after the announcement from the president Motsepe that he said 2027 will be the last tournament, which after that it will take place after every 4 years. But we are thankful
Interesting.
that we Tanzania will be the last people to arrange and prepare the tournament.
Interesting. I like that. Talking about the tournaments, let's talk about tournament readiness. From what you have seen, which team looks most tournament ready? The team that can win ugly games when they have to. Which team is that you've seen so far?
This time around, everything has changed. The last AFCON, people had preferred their teams and they saw that maybe as Senegal, we are playing very well, so people prefer to see maybe Senegal, they can take back the AFCON. But this time around, you cannot prefer one team and think maybe it's the one that can lead and take the AFCON. So far, Egypt has shown a good performance. The same applies to Senegal. The same applies to DR Congo. You have seen DR Congo have changed a lot since they got the last chance to play the playoff for the qualification of the FIFA World Cup. The same applies to the host nation, Morocco. So there are more than four national teams that they see and they are capable. And you can at least give them the chance to see maybe you can see the semi-final for these big teams and maybe you can guarantee them even to have the Cup of Nations as they play in each of their games in the group stage. So for the time being, it's very difficult to say maybe it's Morocco who is more feared team or Senegal or Algeria because in the group stage, every team it's the big team and all the teams that made the qualification to the group stage are the same. But starting for the round of 16, the quarterfinal, the semi-final,
Unfortunately, we've lost Pablo Almas, but we are live and we'll continue to wait for him to rejoin the conversation. This is a fascinating time where all eyes are on Africa. Everybody is looking at the games from whether you are in Washington, D.C., whether you are in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, or across Nigeria, all eyes are on Morocco. I'll be joined shortly by a fan and a sports analyst, Pablo Almas, one of the superstars in Tanzania. I don't know what happened to his feed. Something just went blank, but hopefully he rejoins the conversation. Pablo, are you there? Pablo, are you there? I just lost you. Pablo? Okay. Let's keep this going. There he is. Good to. There he is. Unfortunately,
do you hear me?
I can hear you. So,
Do you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Try to adjust
I'm
your
trying.
screen.
I failed to get the voice.
You can't hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
I
Can
can't
you
get
hear
the
me?
voice, the sound.
Okay. Hello. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that it's not on your. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, we are live once again today. Tonight, all eyes are on Morocco, where Afcon 2025 is reaching its most intense moment. Headlines tell part of the story. Nigeria is through, Egypt and Algeria are safe, and just yesterday, South Africa and others joined that the top countries that are qualified for the top 16. Bafana, of course, secured a spot in the knockouts with a thrilling 3-2 win over Zimbabwe, while while Egypt maintained their unbeatable run, playing out a hard-fought 0-0 draw with Angola. And of course, joining me, sorry, we had lost my friend here, Pablo Almas, but he's back. Can you hear me, Pab?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, very good. Very good. Sorry about that. You know, you were making a point before you disappeared. That's the beauty of technology. You're able to reconnect, and courtesy of good internet. So it's like nothing happened. But let's keep going. So earlier you're trying to break it down, giving us what you think about Afcon, the players, the tournaments. You're trying to say that after this tournament, after next year's tournament, it's going to go to 4 years. Can you go back to that point that you're trying to make, and Tanzania is likely to be hosting that tournament?
Yes, thank you, Paul. What I was saying is that in 2027 will be the last year in Africa that AFCON will be played each after 1 year. And East African countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, will host this tournament. And as for now, we Tanzanian people have sent people in Morocco so that they can learn few things on how to prepare this beautiful tournament whereby all African people get time to watch and learn and have a beautiful and best moment. So I think, despite us just playing as a national team, but we have also a chance to learn and understand what to do so as when it reaches our time, the people who will come in our country, the nations and different people from different countries, they should have to see the same thing that they saw in Morocco. So as maybe after the tournament, they may be happy for what they have seen in our country.
You know, Pablo, let's talk about the countries that both you and I love. Of course, we are talking about your home team, the Taifa Stars and the Uganda Cranes. They had an incredible match over the weekend, but it was very, very emotional. The rain-soaked match in Rabat, where Uganda and Tanzania drew 1-1. From where you stand in the Lasaram, what did the game reveal about the rivalry between the two countries and the level of respect between these neighbors right now?
You know, when you come in terms of football clubs, Tanzania made a big step with the great teams like Simba, Yanga, Azam, and Singida, whereby we live far, Uganda. They are not even close to us. But when it comes to the national team, we didn't make a great step. And you can see, even the last game that played last week against Uganda, the Cranes, we call them Mashemedi because they're just nearby country. We had the great chance to have the 3 points. We led by the goal of Simon Silva, but things didn't go well, whereby Alan Okello took the whole 20 minutes that left. And bad luck for Uganda, they didn't have the chance to have the penalty. But after just having the first goal, after leading the game, everything changed and things became so difficult, whereby it was a bad moment for us. Uganda took the game, and it was not on their day because there were a chance for Uganda to secure the 3 points. Bad luck, Alon Okello missed the penalty, and even Taifa Stars Even though the game was not good in the last 20 minutes, we created a chance whereby Charles Mombwa didn't use it perfectly, and
Mhm.
maybe we could have another history today. And
Mhm.
today, as Tanzanian player, we could have just go to look for a draw, whereby maybe we can talk about the qualification of the 16 round.
Okay, let's get into it. So we have a couple countries that have qualified so far. What other countries do you expect to see on that roster?
Well, despite the countries that you mentioned earlier, like Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Senegal have already qualified. DRC
Nigeria. Mm.
qualified. Nigeria also have qualified. Algeria have qualified, and their qualification is due to how they maintained to play the three games, whereby each game they had the calculation, which helped them out to have this great opportunity to qualify for the 16 round. And for today, maybe it's Uganda, maybe it's Tanzania. It depends on how you face the opponent. And you see, when it comes to Nigeria, have already qualified, and there is nothing new that they are looking for. Maybe we can speak about the first position because when you finish at the first, you meet the second of the next group. So
Mhm.
it will be another battle between Uganda against Nigeria and Tanzania against Tunisia. And for our side, I'll try to speak with my people in Tanzania. They're not even there to think about the first position. What want, it's all about to qualify for the 16 round to make history that
Mm.
we first round we are not sure about that, but if we win against Tunisia we'll have a chance to qualify for the 16 round, and for us we'll be proud as a country, we'll be very very proud. I think even in Uganda that's the same thing that I'm looking for today. And let's wait, it's few hours from now we will learn and know between Uganda and Tanzania, and also Tunisia, who will qualify with Nigeria for the 16 round.
Speaking about the fans in your country, I know you guys are huge fans of football. Uh, in terms of looking ahead, what does that tournament coming to Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya mean to young people out there who are huge fans of the game?
People are excited. That's the first thing. And the second thing, the government of Tanzania have opened doors to the people of Tanzania. If you have ideas on how we can collaborate together to have the good things in Afcon, we are ready to welcome every Tanzanian person who have a great ideas. And for the time being, we are building a new big stadium in Arusha, whereby it will have an opportunity to have more than 40,000 fans who will enter to the game. And so far, the stadium is almost more than 65% in the building. So we think maybe in June to July, the stadium will be ready and we'll have some few games before the Afcon. And also in Dodoma, we are building another stadium. In Dar es Salaam, we have Benjamin Mkapa. In Zanzibar, we have New Amani Complex. The same applies to Uganda, the same applies to Kenya. So this is the great opportunity to Tanzanian people. It's a great opportunity to business people. They can have a chance to learn, they can have a chance to make money, and also for the young generation right now. You know
Y-
the last, yeah.
when I was watching some of the games, there are some games that stood out for me. For example, Bafana, the South Africans, the style they use, this carpet football. South Africa beat Zimbabwe 3-2 to
Yes,
qualify.
yes.
That style, that carpet football style, is it being? And I saw a lot of uh, talk on social media, people talking about how they like that. Is this a genuine tactical evolution under the Hugo brothers, or it's a style that has always been there, but it's finally finding results?
It's a style that has always been there, but
Mhm.
it depends with the game. You know, Hugo, everything changed after Zimbabwe walked up, you know, and people didn't believe that Zimbabwe can make it even to score more than one goal. And
Right.
everything in 70 minutes, and whereby who got everything now, the tactics, the legation of the football of the game against Zimbabwe changed, and whereby it gave them South African people another chance to find a new way on how they can at least reach to the goal of the opponent, and whereby maybe if not about the handball that were considered by the Zimbabweans, maybe we could have talked about another thing right now.
Interesting. How about let's take a quick break. If you're just joining us, we are streaming across all social media platforms, and our topic today is Afcon 2025 in Morocco. So far, Nigeria is through. South Africa joined the team. Bafana Bafana secured their spot in the knockouts stage. Egypt, Algeria are safe. Uganda and Tanzania, of course, we just talked about it, battled through that rain and in Rabat, and we are waiting for other countries to qualify for the second round. We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Tell us about what you think about Afcon 2025 in Morocco. My guest is none other than Pablo Almas, or Crown, a sports journalist and analyst based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. He's breaking it all down. In case you don't know anything about Pablo, he's one of the finest football analysts in Tanzania, or perhaps in the continent. He studied the game. He travels around the country, around the continent, watching these games. So he's my guest today, and check out his work on all social media platforms. Yes, Pablo, let me come back to you. In Morocco, the whistling in Morocco was something else. The booing was something else until the captain Hakimi pleaded with the home fans to stop. He said he talked about how difficult it is for the Morocco squad to balance this massive home support and, of course, the crushing weight of expectations. From where you stand, you are a fan of these games. What does that mean when you have a crowd that is just not cheering you, but in a way trying to bring you down, and yet you're putting in your very best?
African football differs with European football. Some African people who goes to the stadium are there to watch, and other African spectators are there to act like coaches, and others are just there to enjoy the football game. These are the three different people who goes to the stadium for a game. And as in fact of the game, what Hakimi said, in African tournaments, if a nation prepares everything, a home country, their spectators, the only thing that they think it's better for them is for their team to perform, regardless any team that they are facing. That's the first thing. So whatever comes when the fans boo, when the fans are not happy, it's just do like they don't deserve to see what takes place right now. That's why you see a lot of reactions that take place, and sometimes they are happy with the performance. A good example with the captain yesterday, he made his debut after the injury for over more than 2 months. He got back after some few minutes. That was the best moment for the Moroccan national team and their fans. So I think we are used to it. It's not all about the Moroccans. It's all over African nations. We are all the same. When it comes in front of booing, overreacting, they are the same things that takes place every single day, wherever the tournament is.
I've been also watching out for like the stadiums, the crowds in the stadiums. It doesn't seem like these games are attracting a huge number of people watching these games. Is it because of the cost of the tickets? Is it because Morocco is too far up north that most people from the south and the west and the east could not travel there? What's up with that?
You are right, Paul. You are right. The first thing is Morocco tried their level best. The government of Morocco declared that They prepared a good way on how fans, journalists, and other people they can travel to their country, whereby they brought this application known as Yala, whereby you can just apply and it gives you a right visa, a free visa with no payment to get inside the country so as you can watch the tournament. But the bad thing is Morocco is too far with many countries. So many countries. You see, when we talk about the countries that are near Morocco who have participated in this tournament, we talk about Egypt and Algeria, despite other countries are very, very far. A good example is we Tanzanian. From Tanzania to Morocco, it's more than 19 hours by changing the flight. So the tickets, it's very, very expensive for a normal person to have this chance to go and watch the game. And this differs with other countries, like a government from Congo, DRC. It's their habit to have a chance to make travels for their fans. More than 200 fans are get paid by the government, and the government help them by giving them more than $1,000, whereby it can help them to endure within the 1 month that are in Morocco to cheers and support the national team. So
one thousand dollars only for a whole month in Morocco. What will that do for you?
that that means that means a support. So you, as a fan, you have to prepare yourself with your pure heart that I want to support the team. So we, as government, we are supporting you 1,000 with a free ticket, go and return, and a free room. So when you reach in Morocco, you have a free place to stay. You have a ticket to go and get back in the country. So within these 20 days, we give you $1,000, which will help you out for the lunch, dinner, and etc. issues. So I think many countries they can apply this method, which Congo have shown a good example whereby they can make the fans travel 200 fans, 300 fans, whereby they can go to cheer for their national team and they can support them with money, they can support them with basic needs, which will help them even when the team goes inside the pitch for the game. The fans are there to support them. We Tanzania are playing today in the evening. I think 5 hours from now, we have the game against Tunisia. But all I can tell you, the fans who are supporting us today from Tanzania, we don't even reach 20. And if you try to ask why didn't you travel, he says expensive. I cannot afford that. I cannot do that. But if the government comes and help and support, this will be awesome to help many countries. We don't differ the same with Uganda. We don't differ with Zambia. The same thing. The same. So we have to try this.
So to that point, how is the Tanzanian government or the other hostile nations come 2027? How are they going to do it if they can't send players and funds to some of these tournaments? When it comes to their turn, how are they going to deal with those dynamics, those logistical challenges? You know,
I think
has for example, the Tanzanian government started looking into some of these things, because what stops funds from traveling is the visas, the hotels, the logistics on the ground. These games are being played in different places. Do they have, like, in terms of transportation, are they planning to have maybe boats that take people to Zanzibar, planes that fly people to Dodoma and all these other places? Because those places are very, very far from Dar es Salaam.
Well, I think, in my opinion and other people's opinion, you see, whenever Tanzania play, the government promises in each goal where we can buy it for 200 million. Like a game against Uganda, the government promised the Tanzania national team, if you score one goal, we buy it 200 million. If you score the second goal, 400 million.
But so that's corruption at its best. They're trying to corrupt their own.
No, that is, we don't call it corruption. We call it something to motivate, something to make the players to perform, for the nation, because we as Tanzania, we need nothing than happiness. And the happiness in the tournament is to have the 3 points. So when it comes to Tanzanian, on how the government have to do so as we can have funds in each country, each region where the tournament can take place. Bad luck, the chant that took place in Tanzania, the attendance was not good. There were no large number of fans who went to watch the games. And what I think is, because this time around it's Afcon, and Tanzanian people, when they always hear there's a certain team, maybe Mahrez from Algeria, maybe it's Egypt, Mo Salah, maybe it's Morocco, Brahim Diaz will come in our country. Definitely, you don't have to push them. Themselves, they will go and buy the ticket. Themselves, they will travel to the region so as they can support the team. So because it's Afcon, and it depends with the group of the nations that will face. If Tanzania will be the same group with Morocco, maybe if Tanzania will be the same group with Egypt, the giants African nations, you will see there will be no force used to the funds to pay and travel to the regions to support the nation. But maybe if we meet again, this our normal team like us, then I think now it's a time for the federation, TFF, Tanzanian Football Federation, come and sit with the fans and other people and find the good ways on how we can make it happen to each game. At least a full stadium of 40,000 attendance, we can make it to 25 to 30, and sometimes 60,000 attendance, we can make it to 50. So we have to range in a way that even people who watch outside from Africa, they have to be proud of the tournament. They have to say, like, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, they will deserve to have this opportunity to prepare the Afcon of 2027.
Let's go back to the point you mentioned. You talked about earlier. Uh, the teams that are qualifying for the second round.
Yes.
In some cases, these were teams that were expected anyway to make it to that point, right? Are there teams that have surprised you this far that are likely to qualify for the second round, even go beyond the second round?
Well, I think since I've started watching the first game till today, we are about to finish into the group stage. The performance that not only me, African people saw from Angola, the last Afcon in Ivory Coast, they were expecting to see the same thing this time around, but it didn't work for Angola. You see, Angola, they had poor performance, but think people think maybe this year it will change everything. People are betting for DRC Congo. They think maybe it's time after a few players who were playing for Europe and different nations got back to their nationality. We talk about Tuan Bisaka, we talk about Tuan Zebe. Since the arrival, things have changed a lot, and even Bakambu have improved now. Bakambu plays better more than the way he plays for his club. So people think now, despite Morocco, who people thought like it's rarely they will just qualify. The same applies to Egypt. The same applies to Bafana Bafana. That's my best team despite Tanzania. I support South Africa. And you can see also Algeria. People are now betting for DRC Congo. They think it's their time. It's time to motivate themselves by having this chance to make it to the final of the Afcon, whereby maybe after the Afcon, they may be brave now to go to play for the playoff of the qualification of the FIFA World Cup.
So you just brought up an interesting point. You said that you are a Bafana fan. Why?
Well, I am a Bafana fan in one to two big reasons. Uh, the first reason that I love South Africa. First, South Africa, despite we Tanzanian and Uganda, South Africa is one among the greatest team and the strongest team in these competitions. And in their national team, there are only three players that they play outside of Africa. and outside of South Africa. So this is an interesting story because with Tanzania, we can see our national team. We have more than 4 players who are playing outside Tanzania, but the performance is always poor. The same applies to Uganda. But see how South Africa plays, see how South Africa perform, see how South Africa get the 3 points. It gets interesting since the last tournament because a large number of players who play in that tournament are the players from Africa, are the players from the same league. The PS League are the same players. The last game that they won 3-2 against Zimbabwe, 8 players are from the same league. 4 players from Mamelodi, 3 players from this team which got eliminated by Lupopo for the qualification of CAF Champions League. Orlando Pirates. So you can see only 3 players, the attacker, the midfielder, and the backliner, are the players that come outside of Africa. And we have to be proud, like, despite having this large number of players who are playing in Europe, but South Africa shows us something like, we sometimes disrespect ourselves, like, this Tanzanian player, he plays for Yanga and he wants to battle with Mohamed Salah, who plays for Liverpool. These are 2 things different. People think like they can never battle because Mohamed Salah plays for Liverpool. The CV is high more than the player who plays in Yanga or Simba. But when it comes to South Africa, you saw the game Egypt against South Africa. Maybe if the referee was on our side, we could have maybe the 3 points or 1 point because we played very well. Mohamed El Shanawi had a great game. He made more than 7 saves. That maybe we could have 2 to 3 goals. So I'm a South Africa fan because it shows how we can trust players. The other nations, they don't trust a player who plays in Africa, like Ivory Coast. You'll never see Ivory Coast in Afcon. There is a player who plays in Africa who will play in that national team. Never.
Interesting. Speaking about that, let's talk about the leadership on the pitch.
Yes.
Beyond the scores, of course, which player has stood out to you, not just for goals, but in terms of leadership, being able to lead the teams to play very well in this tournament? When I've watched some games when the pressure is so high, there are some players that stand out. Who are some of those players that stand out for you?
Thank you so much. I think I can start with Suleiman, who plays for Comoros. Bad luck for them. They didn't make it to the 16 round, but Comoros have shown something different.
But they're
Suleiman,
going for the World Cup, bro.
yeah, that's amazing. No, it's Cape Verde who are going for the World Cup.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
in terms of Comoros, they have shown us something different, whereby we think if they will have that opportunity in upcoming Afcon, maybe things will change out. And another player who people think in his club, he doesn't deserve to have this 5 to 10 minutes. Brahim Diaz, he's superb. He's showing his talent. He's showing what he's capable to help the team out to secure the 3 points. Brahim Diaz on my side, he's really doing his best, and I think maybe he's one of the players that they may contender to have the chance to win the player of the tournament. That's Yes, I'm also pleased with William, the goalkeeper of South Africa, a great leader who speaks every time with the players, who shows a good example on how to tolerate, on how to not give up, on how you can still be able to win the game, even though you think now we cannot do anything. Comoro or Zimbabwe have touched us. We cannot even have the 3 passes to reach to the goal. William will call the players. He will tell them, listen, we do this for the nation. We don't do this for ourselves. So the players get motivated, and you see South Africa can do something that no one expected, and they can get results. So this AFCON is completely, I think, what can I say, a good one. It's something that people didn't think it may be easy and difficult as the last one. The same thing that I was.
How about the knockout factor? As we head, of course, into this round of 16, what separates these teams to go all the way from those that fall early? For example, there are countries that have not qualified for this other round. Is it the squad? Is it the depth? Or is it simply mental discipline of these players?
Well, so far, I don't think if discipline enters directly. And second thing, I don't think it's about the coach's tactics that don't help the team to win. But what differs for the teams that have qualified and what differs for the team that have disqualified is just the quality of the players. You know, sometimes you don't see the things that the coach has told the players to do and they do, but you see the quality of a player, a single player, 2 to 3 players that they use their own tactics, their own style, their own skills to help out the team to have the 3 points. So I think what's really dismissed them, it's just the qualities. That's all. That's why we Tanzanian, when we play against Nigeria, the thing that led us to lose. It is the quality. You know, there are players that they saw Osimhen for the first time. They saw Iwobi for the first time. So if you talk to them like he tells you, bro, Iwobi, Osimhen, he is very tall, and I can't even push him. You see, if you have a certain player like that, his mentality, it was not about winning. Its mentality, it was like, oh my God, this is a blessing. I have a good day playing against a great striker who plays for Galatasaray. So definitely, there's no winning there. There's no winning because at his first time, he's learning, he understands, and he gets used of the players. So in coming years, maybe now he said, okay, I've played already with Osimhen, so now I can challenge him. But you can see Komoro, qualities. Tanzania, qualities. Uganda, qualities. The same thing that made us to lose this opportunity. And maybe if Tanzania or Uganda qualifies today, we'll all call it miracles.
We all call it miracles. But I wanted to, there's something that whenever I'm watching out for these games, I'm always looking out for that one player who scores the most goals and ends up getting the golden boot. In your particular case, you've studied these players, you've met them, you've been all over the place looking at some of these tournaments. Do you have somebody in mind who is likely to win this time around?
The golden boot,
Yes.
you know, it's very difficult because so far, more than 4 players have scored 3 goals, and their national team have already qualified for the knockout stage. Brahim Diaz has scored 3 goals. Uh, El Kabi, who master, we call him master of acrobatics, has also scored 3 goals. Riyad Mahrez, who plays for Algeria, has scored 3 goals. You see that we have another player, Wicks for South Africa, has scored 2 goals. So I think the game and the time to define who will have this chance to win the Golden Boot. I think maybe from the quarter to semi-final. That will be a great time now to mention few of them. But for the time being, there are more than 4 to 5 players who have scored the same amount of goals, whereby it's very difficult. You can guarantee them to score each game. Upcoming games, Amadi Diallo made the same thing, and people are still expecting Diallo can score again in his last group stage game. So for the time being, it's hard, really hard to say. Maybe it's Diallo, Mares, Diaz who can have the golden boots. Maybe I think we can do this from the quarter to semi-final. It's a real good time to choose who will have the golden boot.
How about the team? Do you have any team in mind that is likely to win the championships? Because I was looking at doing research earlier, and
Yes.
there are some countries that have had the privilege of winning it multiple times, and there are countries that have really never even come close. So who do you expect maybe to surprise everybody and win this championship? Which team?
In terms of surprising, DRC Congo. In terms of the team that people think they can do it, it's Morocco. But in terms that of a team which will shock everyone, it's South Africa.
Interesting, interesting. So, looking forward, what are some of your expectations as we start getting into these crazy times of the second round?
First of all, I would like to thank the president of CAF, uh, Motsepe. He has been doing brilliant. Things have been changing in each Afcon. We have seen the development, and even the countries with the government have been improving a lot of things before the tournament and after the tournament. And what I think is for the quarterfinal, for the 16 round, uh, we are not expecting to see a team scoring more than 2 to 3 goals that we saw in the group stage, because that will be the time that football will be played more than goals to be scored. So I think it will be very challenging to see maybe if Morocco meets Algeria, if Congo meets Egypt, and say like maybe Morocco against Algeria, the game may end up 3-0. No, 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 no. In African football, we don't do that. Africa, it's very challenging. It's not like European football. Till teams arrive in the quarterfinal, in the 16 round, you know exactly which is the biggest team and which is the smallest team. But in Africa, there is wonders always. So I think the goals will be reduced and football will be played more.
Not to compare some of these Premier Leagues, the European Premier Leagues, like the Copa America, not to compare. When you look at this African tournament, you look at all these other teams that play in terms of how they are managed, in terms of how uh, they are facilitated to play these games. Where does this tournament fall?
Pardon?
So when you look at let's say the Premier League, you look at Copa America, you look at this Africa tournament. Uh, for you to get there, for you to play and be able to maybe sustain yourself, you go through a lot in terms of how the team is treated, how the team is coached, how the players teammates. Where do you put some of these African teams when it comes to that?
We are still behind, Paul. I can't lie on that. We are still behind, and maybe thankful to the national teams. They get a great support from the government, especially in big tournaments like Afcon, maybe the qualification of the FIFA World Cup. But when it comes to the clubs, there are so many players who are suffering. In our country, there are so many cases to the players who aren't paid for more than 4 to 5 months' salary. So I think we are still behind, whereby it confuses even the player to perform well and to have the opportunity. That's why, even in our country, in Uganda, there are so many players that had a chance to go to make it to the Europe, but they reach there, they are offered a small amount of money, whereby even in Africa, they never thought they can have that amount of money. If they just get it, they think they are already rich. It's knowledge. They are used to get a small amount of money. And he can play for 5 to 4 years, and if no consecutive consistency, he gets back in Africa. And when he's back in Africa, you wonder, oh, Pablo, you went to play in Europe for more than 5 years, but you got back broke. It's just about knowledge, and we are used of these things that they are destroying the mentality of the players. Whereby even the players, if you don't have a good management, if you don't perform very well in a consistent way, it it may take you back for the place that you have never thought that you can get back. So I think uh, we need transformation. We need to learn. We need to take people from abroad to come and help a lot of teams on how to manage the players, to manage the team, to manage everything. It can help us a lot, and we can make a big step. South Africa have made a big step now. A player for 17, 18 years old, he signed with a lot of money in Europe, in Asia, in Saudi Arabia. Why not us in East Africa? But this comes from Morocco, comes from Egypt, comes from Ivory Coast and Tanzania. Ivory Coast, they don't even match our capability of making money. But Ivory Coast has a large number of players who play in Europe because they have the transformation, a way that leads them on how they can make it to the Europe and sustain a great players always and always. So I think it's not bad to learn. Learning it's great because learning improves a lot of things.
So, if I hear you correctly, you seem to suggest that our African players are maybe a bit shy when it comes to asking for what they deserve, what they should be paid, because they lack the knowledge, they lack the expertise, they lack the training. Uh, from where you stand, what do you think can be done? Is it bringing these outside scouts to come and look at the players in Africa, maybe have these African players negotiate their contracts before they leave Africa? What do you think?
I think first African players have to accept that they have to learn. And the second thing, the federation of football in each country do not allow a player to make a negotiation with a team without a management. That's whereby when a player don't get paid for more than 5 months, he comes to the social medias. He looks for us, Pablo, help me. I'm not paid for more than 6 months. And when you try to ask him, like, why aren't you paid? Where's your management? He don't have even a management. So how can a player? Your work is to play. These things on how the salary, the rent of the house, cars, and every stuff, you have to leave it to the management. So I think first, uh, themselves players have to admit and accept to learn. And the second thing, the federation, what has to do is to make sure each player have a management that helps to grow him. And the third thing is that I think we as a nation, as African people, have to allow the scouts come to Africa and collect all these skillful players to the world. Because at the end of the day, if Paul Leo has a great son who plays maybe in Uganda, and today a scout comes and pick him, he goes to play for Newcastle, Leicester City. It's not all about Paul Leo who will be proud of the player because he is his son. But as a nation of Uganda, nation of Tanzania, we'll be proud also to have a great kid who represent the nation from Newcastle. That's why when you see other players at the end of the tournament who plays for Man City, for Real Madrid when the game over, they raise up their flags and they're happy because they are representing it. And that's the all what we all need as African people.
Mhm. We almost are out of time. Any final thoughts about these games? What should we be looking out for uh, as fans?
I think as fans, they should get prepared to be surprised with the results. That's the first thing because we are almost there. The time that there are teams which will be eliminated without even fans to like it. It's the time we are almost there, and I think the last thing, my consideration to the East African countries, the government, this is the right time to keep planning. This is the right time to know what exactly to do to prepare so as to not get ashamed when it reaches our time. 2027, it's not that very much far. It's a year from now. And the good thing is now the Afcon don't regularly start from January. It starts at the end of December, 15 days before December, before the end of the year. So we are talking about the next December. We should have everything ready. So as people should be proud as the way they are in Morocco for the good environmental, for the good management, good hospitality, and everything. So my last concern, it's the government and its people. It's time to get ready. It's time now to perform more. If there are no fans in Morocco, we have to make
Well, On that note, thank you so much, Pablo. Pablo, it's been an absolute pleasure to host you. Pablo Almasa is a sports journalist based in Tanzania. And of course, we're expected to be joined by Douglas Mpuga, but he was not sure. So I will take it from there. Thank you so much to our viewers. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and follow me, Paul Ndiho, on Substack, X, TikTok, and YouTube. We'll see you on another episode of Different Perspectives. For now, so long from Washington. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.